Irish potatoes perform well in loose, loamy and sandy loam soils that are well drained and aerated, rich in organic matter with a pH range of 5 to 6.5. Impermeable soil layers limit the rooting depth, thus affecting production. Optimum yields are realized where average daily temperatures range between 16 to 20 degrees Celsius. Tuber development is highly inhibited when temperatures get below 10 degrees and above 30 degrees Celsius. For rainfall, the crop does well in regions that receive a regular rainfall of 850 to 1400 milliliters per annum. Irish potatoes do well at an altitude range of 1500 to 2800 meters above sea level.
This is not the first time that we're trying to grow potatoes under irrigation in Kenya. We have actually done trials in different parts of the country to see the adaptability also of our varieties to the different climates and agroecological zones. We have even done trials as far as Wajir to see can potatoes grow there. And of course we know Wajir is a hot and dry place, so there you must irrigate. So there we actually use the water pans that they have available to irrigate the crop. In our own farm where we are doing our seed multiplication in Nakuru County, we are also using irrigation so that now we can grow potato seeds all year round, so that we're also able to supply the farmers with the certified seeds all year round. I know of a few other farmers in different parts of the country, Naivasha, Meru, who have already grown potatoes under different irrigation methods. And I know of many more farmers who are interested to take this up in the future because now that they have seen certified seed can be available all year round, that then also makes the risk of their investment into irrigation much less. It doesn't make sense to invest in irrigation if then you cannot get certified seeds to plant and then your irrigation infrastructure remains idle. So with the certified seed becoming available all year round, you can see it is a catalyst for farmers but also for the value chain to start developing that whole value chain and to increase volumes. And yeah, that's also why we are here today, really, to show that potatoes can be grown in the non-traditional areas under irrigation, even under mechanization, and farmers can get a very good yield from it and grow a very profitable crop.
Despite this being a trial, there were a few challenges experienced. Caroline elaborates.
One major challenge that farmers or we have faced here is just the management of the crop. Crop management is very critical and it is very vital. You can have the best seedlings or seeds, you can have the correct fertilizers, you can have the right chemicals, but if you don't manage the crop well, then you'll not be able to realize the target harvest that you need or that you're supposed to produce. So one challenge is that it was a new crop for us. Even our agronomists were like, okay, will it work? Let us try. So we had the doubts, but we are also learning in the process. In as much as we are a training institute, some of the crops are not within the curriculum, but we are learning. We are learning on how to manage the crop. Sometimes we have tutor that has been very persistent. So we are doing a lot of sprays. We are also learning a lot from just doing the crop.
In Kenya, most farmers do not practice good crop husbandry. There is no crop rotation, little pest control, and many do not understand the importance of using disease-free seed. Some of the common potato diseases are bacterial wilt, early and late blight, and potato cyst nematode. Due to the warm temperatures at Isinya, use of fungicides and pesticides was low as compared to the highlands.
Kajiado is not one of the most typical potato growing regions. Typically in Kenya, you find potatoes grown in high altitudes, places with heavy rainfall and cool temperatures. So that makes it susceptible to especially fungal diseases such as blight. Now in this case we are experimenting with potato in a warm, low altitude area. So what happens is the crop is less exposed to those conditions that are favorable for blight. So in a sense it's a good thing, the fact that we are growing the crop in an area that is less susceptible to diseases. So you might find that like the farmers in the wetter, colder areas, they might spray more often the fungal diseases, but here you might find the farmers spraying a bit less, a wider interval, also perhaps using only protective fungicides as opposed to the curative ones, which the farmers in the cooler areas have to use.
This means less production costs. However,
my advice is they really have to do the maths well, because it doesn't help to quote-unquote save money by putting less inputs and then the crop suffers, whether it's due to pests or diseases. It is more worthwhile to invest. You've already invested in good seed, you've already invested in nutrition. Why not also invest in the crop protection to make sure the crop is protected from diseases? And at the end of the day, make it more worthwhile in terms of the returns that come in. The difference we expect on this side is that we anticipate the farmers to rely less on the fungicides, so they might spray less on the fungicides, but because it's warmer and hotter, they might have more insect infestations. So that might balance out. They might spend less on fungicides, but spend a bit more in the insecticides, but only time will tell. Because right now the crop we have in the field will serve as a demo, will serve as a trial for us to do all the mathematics, including the cost of the inputs.
what about fertilizer?
When it comes to farm inputs, we are trying to change from conventional way of doing things. That is, the kind of fertilizers that farmers have been using have not been that beneficial. But now, currently, we have moved to more innovative products. And like what we used in this farm, we used Baraka fertilizer. And the reason as to why we used Baraka fertilizer on potato, it is because we have a crop-specific formulation that focuses on the need and the requirements of a certain crop. And this was developed after soil testing in the growing areas of potato. So we knew that if we used Baraka potato planting, it had the required nutrients, as opposed to the conventional fertilizers that were used across the board without much considerations on the specific requirements of different crops. So currently what we are seeing in the farm, it's a combination of planting fertilizer and top dressing fertilizer. They are applied at the intervals of 6 weeks, specifically because we have slow release technology that lasts for the 6 weeks. So once you plant with Baraka potato planting, you wait for the 6 weeks after planting, and that's when the first fertilizer will be depleted, and then this will take it to the maturity level. The difference between Baraka fertilizer or crop-specific fertilizers and DAP is that DAP is just a straight fertilizer. It has less nutrients. It's an NPK, but it has less nutrients. It is not a Kenyan recommendation. Unlike Baraka was developed based on the requirements of the Kenyan soils and in considerations with the deficiencies that were identified once we were coming into being. But DAP is a foreign product, and it has to be enhanced by other products for it to be effective. Baraka comes with a one-stop solution for specific crops. So DAP is a set of, it's an imported product, and it's a recommendation from another country whose soils might not concur with our requirements. In the potato crop, we recommend 100 kgs per acre, that is at planting. And planting, as we know, we consider planting begins when the rains start, and it can be through split application, and it can be through broadcasting before the formation of ridges. For top dressing, it's the same. We apply 100 kgs per acre.
The growing importance of potatoes in the Kenyan diet in its favorable qualities in terms of versatility as a food and a commercial commodity has exerted pressure on stakeholders to explore ways of promoting the crop to its desired position as a leading commercial enterprise in the country. To do this, there is need to understand the dynamics underlying potato marketing in the country. Market information on demand, supply and pricing of potatoes and the preferences of varieties is largely lacking. Filling this knowledge gap would make better use of resources by stakeholders interested in putting in place necessary interventions and investors interested in the potato industry.